Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hello, my friends. Mariana asked me whether I can speak about the love aspect of reality. And he quoted a Baba, Neem Karoli Baba, who said to his disciples, be like Christ. He lost himself totally in love. Now he wants me to talk about this. Love. I've talked about it before. It's a word that is used in different ways. There is, of course, the emotional love. Everybody knows about that one. And that is always changing. Like all emotions, they come, they go, they have peaks. Sometimes they are there, sometimes they are not there. But there is something totally different that is not an emotion, that is also called love. Somehow a weakness of our language. That both are called love. That is that awareness that we are connected. The more we feel isolated, the more we feel separate from the whole rest of existence, the less there is that awareness of that love that connects everything. It's always there. It's an aspect of reality. It's the first manifestation, the first expression of that mystery of existence. It's not only consciousness. Consciousness also is the first expression, but it's also love and it's also energy. Pure love, pure energy, pure consciousness is the base. What is that love aspect? Asks Mariano. It's that aspect that connects everything. It's that awareness that we are not separate, that we are not behind a wall, inside the wall, it's me, and outside it's the whole rest. There is no separation. And the more that awareness is dawning, the more the love simply flows. The emotion love can help to open the heart. The emotion love can help us to open up, to get, to somehow cut through that barrier of separation. But the emotions change. And that fact that we are all connected, that there is no separation. If we hurt anybody, we are hurting ourselves. If we are doing something good, we are doing something good to ourselves. If we are radiating negative energies, we are doing that to ourselves. But if we are radiating purity and light and love, then this is something that we are doing to ourselves. We are connected, we are not separate. When Nim Karoli says to his disciples, be like Christ who lost himself in love, means that he was not holding on to that me, I personality, but simply was immersed in love, having that awareness all the time that there is no separation, being connected, that everything is, after all, an expression of that same divinity. When it starts to dawn in us, we may get very emotional about it and be very excited and jubilant. But this is an experience, this comes, this goes, can be ecstatic experiences, they come, they go. It's not something that stays. It will calm down, and there is that peaceful joyousness that remains. And as one is getting stronger, the intensity can grow and grow without one is getting especially jubilant or ecstatic about it. All our experiences, all our struggles, everything is slowly intensifying that basic experience of reality. Reality doesn't change, but our experience of it keeps on unfolding. And this may be a very gentle process that we are not even aware of it, but we may be here now, experience consciously being alive with an intensity and remain totally relaxed and calm about it, while that same intensity would have driven us in a raving ecstasy 10 years, 20 years ago. Now, people approaching reality in different ways. We can focus mainly on consciousness. We can focus mainly on love. We can focus mainly on energy. If we go about it sincerely, if that experience gets more profound, the other two aspects automatically will join in. As long as that is not happening, the experience, our practice, our spirituality remains very superficial. We can study Advaita, we can understand Advaita, we can talk a lot about Advaita if the heart is not opening. If the energy is not balancing out in our psychophysical manifestation, then that Advaita knowledge remains very superficial. We can start more as a devotee and be very emotional in our love for God and make much a fuss about it. It's mainly emotional. But if that emotion is sincere, gradually the attention is sinking deeper, more and more that divine presence will be felt here, now, wherever we go, whatever we do. If that is not happening, then that devotional practice remains very superficial, mainly a show for others. We can learn to be more aware of the vital force, of the energy of life. Do practices, yoga asanas, pranayamas, other energy practices. If we don't start to really feel that flow of the life force, If the heart is then not opening in course of the process, if the mind is not calming down, then that energy practice remains very superficial. It doesn't matter in what way we are approaching. What matters is that we are sincere about it. And love is a very powerful force. If one opens really to that divine love, to that awareness of all is connected, then the whole outlook becomes different. And even if the old habits, the old patterns are there, and one attempting to disturb that all the time, more and more it is possible then to simply redirect the attention. Bring it back to that awareness of being one, being unique and yet essentially one with everyone, with everything. It is a possibility for the devotee to just very emotionally pray to God, do all the religious practices. But if there is sincerity in it, then more and more that divine presence will be felt. And automatically the mind will calm down and the energies will balance out in our manifestation, and we become aware how we can energetically connect with everything. So Mariano, this is something you can very well integrate in spite of basically approaching on the path of inquiry. Who am I? But that I needs not be directed just to one body, not just to one role, one personality, but that I amness that is at the base of all existence can give you more and more that awareness. We are all one, we are all connected. And that is the love, the divine love. Emotions about it may come and go. Experiences about it may come and go. It is their nature. They don't stay. Everything expressed, everything in manifestation keeps on changing all the time, but the base out of which that expression comes remains there, full of potential, pure, never affected, never stained by what is happening in manifestation. And if we learn to redirect the attention back to that ground, then we can live in this world, go through this world, work in this world, act in this world, play our role in this world. At the same time, deep down, always that awareness is there. There is that base that is not affected by it. This is my home. Let's make it in our home. Let's not spend our life being always so concerned about the details of how the story is unfolding. Nothing wrong being reasonable about it. Nothing wrong doing that which makes the most amount of sense. At the same time, the awareness can be that this is very momentary. It comes, it goes, never stays, it always changes. It's the present moment in manifestation is a momentary appearance and it's already gone. But that base is there prior to the story, during the story, after the story. One can choose one of the three avenues as the main avenue, but also it's possible to combine them from the beginning. to combine maybe two or maybe all the three aspects. Everybody finds finally their own way. In a way, everybody is creating their own yoga. We have all the traditional blueprints. We can pick out what is responding to what we feel drawn, what comes naturally. But then every story develops in its own unique way. We're all one, and yet the expression is unique. If you open your heart to that love aspect, it may make many things easier. You may be able to deal with situations and then not react to them negatively, emotionally, but with the awareness of the not being separate, of being connected all the time is there, then we have a totally different starting point. How we deal with situation, how we deal with people, how we deal with this whole human life experience. And we can learn not to take the whole damn story so serious, not to be so much concerned about our own personal little likes and dislikes, fears, fears of making a mistake, fears of missing an opportunity, all those personal fears suddenly stop being important. What we are looking for is here now, timelessly present. We just have to turn the attention back to that. And the more we remind ourselves to do so, the more it becomes a natural movement that slowly neutralizes that movement that has been learned to go away with the attention of them. While growing up in this world, automatically the attention is pulled more and more away from that. And what should be natural simply doesn't happen because the habit of doing the opposite is there so strong. But if we consciously remind ourselves, whatever we are doing, wherever we are going, whatever is happening, to turn the attention back to that base, to make that in our home, then it comes easier and easier. And eventually, the power of the habit of the old patterns is overcome simply by developing that new habit of reminding ourselves to connect. And then it's just starting to happen effortlessly. Consciousness, love, energy, they are all the same, and yet it's a unique flavor, a unique aspect, three different aspects of that same first expression of that mystery of life, that base out of which all the expressions come. Nothing is apart from that. And the fact that we can experience that, the fact that we can become aware of that not being separate, that is what is called love. So Baba's advice to lose yourself in love is very practical. It's not that you, as what you are getting lost somewhere. It's simply that which we think we are. That personality can be annihilated by turning the attention back to that basic love that pervades everything. Okay, I'm stopping with that now, and I'm asking you, my friends, is there anyone here who would like to come and say something? You are welcome to do so. Okay. Nobody wants to talk. I have had, when I was talking about this in this way, as I just talked, I've had sometimes replies like, yes, but that's easy to say when we are in the world, when we confront people that behave difficult. How can we then just be aware of that love? It seems difficult for the mind. Why? Simply because that habit of not functioning like that, not functioning from the awareness of oneness, but from the basic assumption and belief that we are totally separate. Because of that habit, it's not so easy from one day to another to give that up. A habit has its own momentum and will pull us time and again into the same line of functioning. The same rails are there, and the easiest way is to roll on the same rails. But if we consciously decide, okay, that is there, some work may be needed, but I have every moment the possibility to redirect the attention. If that intent is there that we are doing so, then the memory of that will come back. As long as we don't remember, we cannot do anything. But the moment we remember, we can make use of it, practical use of it, redirect the attention, bring it back to that base in one way or another, and then look at the experience from that perspective, and it may look very much different. And even if we are dealing with impossible people who really behave unfriendly, offensive, that doesn't mean we have to somehow try to convince ourselves it's all very nice. No. If somebody behaves not nice, then that's not nice. But we still can redirect the attention to the fact, after all, this is just a dreamlike game, this experience of this world. It's momentary. Whatever we are perceiving is momentary. After a moment, it's already changing or maybe gone, while that base is unchangeable. No matter what is happening, it's still there. That pure love, pure consciousness, pure energy. It's not a matter of difficult or easy. If we really want the truth, we have to accept the possibility that sometimes it's not so easy. Basically, it's very simple. What is needed is very simple. But then sometimes we may feel it's not so easy, but we feel like that because without being quite aware of it, out of habit, we are creating all those obstructions. And then we have to face obstacles also that simply come in the flow of things, situations that are not so easy to deal. And there it's easy to throw in the towel and say, oh, I can't, I have to deal with that situation. I cannot be philosophic about it. We can. Sometimes, in spite of that, we may play a role that asks of us that we are assertive, that sometimes we may bang on the table, say, no, not like this, not any step further in this direction. That may happen, but we can learn to do so without being self-important about it, without also indulging in self-pity. Difficult or easy, if we sincerely go about it, if we sincerely remind ourselves, if we start our days with the intent to remember, and then consequently go about it, when we catch the attention, how it is roaming, how it is absorbed, how it is identified with the small, that we redirect the attention, bring it to that vastness of existence. If we categorically do so, then what appear to be difficult in the beginning, appear to be hopeless sometimes, because of what we try to attempt and how we are functioning may seem to be such a different story. There may be such a gap between what we are experiencing and what we would like to experience, how we are functioning and how we would like to function. If we go about it sincerely, patiently, persistently, invariably, what in the beginning appeared to be very difficult becomes easier and easier. And finally, it's simply there, a natural way of functioning. So let's not get discouraged if we intend to go in a certain direction, but then somehow we become aware our old patterns are just pulling the attention away again and again and again from that straight line. Whenever we become aware that this has happened, okay, there we are, accept the situation, but not with weakness. Accept the situation with strength, with the awareness. I can change it. It doesn't need to be like this. I don't have to go on. I'm not condemned for the rest of my life to continue functioning in the same way, to continue to be a victim of our own making, a victim of our patterns that we have built up, a victim of our habits, with always the possibility to step a step back, redirect the attention, and be here now in one way or another. Sometimes we are more successful with it, sometimes we are less successful with it. But the fact that we are sincerely trying, that we are sincerely doing it as good as we can, that makes all the difference. That helps us to remove the crystallization in these patterns. Once they are there, they are like crystallized in shape and don't want to change anymore. But if we become aware, we can every time, at every moment, in every situation, we may withdraw that unnecessary identification with one part, with one role, with one aspect. And if that identification goes, then we are aware. What we have been looking for is here. We can continue with intents that help. We can continue with the intent to be more alert, to be more aware. And even if it becomes habitual and easier because of that, it's not the same destructive, habitual way of functioning like before. If it's becoming a habit to simply connect consciously in the present, then that habit is very useful. Unlike the negative habits, when they are being repeated and repeated, they become powerful. Our creative habit, the habit of not being a victim of the situation, but turning the attention to that source of power, to that base, then that habit is very useful. We don't have to think now, I have to wipe out every trace of any habit. Simply look at those that create distance, that create difficulties, that create disharmony. And those we can work and let them go. Gradually, sometimes a real step simply happens, but there we continue the same. To disidentify of everything that makes us feel I am separate. I'm a person separate from the whole rest of existence. Okay, friends, again I'm asking, is there anyone who would like to say something? You're welcome. Hello, Nava.
Hi, Werner. Thank you for everything you're saying. First of all, I'll say that. Lately, this happens every so often. Everything you're talking about now, um, I take the intention into my life, and some things get to me so much that I totally lose it.
Yeah,
And other times I manage.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
What I what is not clear to me lately is my meditation.
Mhm.
I don't seem to know how to, I don't even know how to meditate for sure in order to develop this. I can sit and look at the breath,
Mm.
and I do that. Um, but it's basically focus
Yes.
and right. And that doesn't seem to be enough. And then I remember you saying something last week about we have to also see what's going on inside of us. We have to understand ourselves. And so the thoughts come and the emotions come.
Yeah.
And I'm not quite sure, first of all, where the balance is between the focus and the breath and
Mm.
seeing what's happening. And um, it's somehow easier in day-to-day life, actually, to be doing what you're talking about now. In the meditation, it's just not clear to me now.
Mhm.
I start every day meditating.
Yeah.
Okay, if I don't do that, chances are the day's not going to go well.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, sometimes it's not going to go well anyways, but without that, I'm usually not going to manage. But I can't seem to connect right now the meditation and what I should be doing to exactly what you're talking about.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's a good start. Okay, I really don't seem to
Yeah. It's
see how to do that.
it's not really true that it's easier in the active life than in meditation. It's simply in meditation we become acutely aware that even if we basically intend to be focused, how much the attention is wandering off. And that, okay, how much should you let it wander off and deal with the stuff that comes up, or how much should you focus? Focus and relax. And if you can be focused and relaxed, then just stay with the focus and ignore all those attempts of the thoughts to pull your attention away. It's only if there is insistent stuff that we have to see, okay, it's too strong. It's not simply going away by ignoring it, by not feeding it. There you can, at a certain moment, decide, okay, now I'm not focusing on the breath so much. I invite it, I let it come and see what it is doing. You're still staying focused in the present if you are not getting lost in a story, but just let the story come up, let the emotions come up, but focus in the present and see what it is doing to your experience and relax again. That you don't have to solve problems in the sense that you have to somehow try to find a solution for whatever has happened and how to deal with it now. But we can learn that it can come up, but we don't need to give attention because it comes, it goes, it doesn't leave a trace. But then if it's too strong, we can accept, okay, I give it some time and just open up to that and observe how it is manifesting, and then in during that observation again relax, let go, don't hold on to it, don't justify you or don't condemn yourself for whatever has happened, whatever I did or whatever the others did and I had to defend. Simply see how much it is still charged and what is happening to your experience right now when the emotions come up. But if that is not compelling, you need not think because you should know what's going on in your subconscious that you start to follow every nonsense that comes in the head. Because there is no end to it. There is a jungle, and then we start to simply sit down and dream away. Basically, focus, but learn to relax into focus. And then sometimes it may also be all right for a moment to use a bit force if something wants to disturb, but then immediately relax again. And if you can do so, then stay with that. Open, relaxed, with the basic longing to really verify it with your own experience that you are that base, that you are prior to the personality that you think you are. And if you sit like this, you need not do anything else.
That's exactly my question, right? So you talk about energy, you talk about love. Um, in Buddhism, there are multiple ways of meditating,
Yes.
right? To develop compassion, to develop self-awareness. It goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what I've been asking myself lately. So what you're suggesting, will those come through that practice rather than, as I said, as in Buddhism, so you meditate, for example, on compassion. So are you saying that you focus on the breath, you focus on what comes, you relax within it.
Mm.
You hope that it doesn't take over. Are you saying that those qualities will develop on their own?
Actually, we don't really need to develop those qualities. Those qualities, they are there, naturally there, if we don't disturb them. Of course, one can do practices to remove those traits that are disturbing them. If one feels attracted to that, one can very well do so. But it's not that if you don't do that, that because of that, no chance that ever there is such a thing like compassion. If we stop creating that sense of separation, if we stop creating those barriers in the mind that are like walls, like shields, and become aware that everything is connected, compassion simply springs up naturally without having to develop it by practice.
It feels more and more like that. That it seems, I don't know, to something to actually sit and meditate on something. Um, there's something else. I don't have a sense of oneness with everything, but I have a sense of sameness.
Yeah,
Whether it's a person, there's this tree outside of my window, and it seems that we're the same.
right,
And I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
right. That's what I'm talking about. It you can call it sameness or oneness. It's not that when you become aware that there is no separation, immediately you experience everything as yourself. I mean, there may be experiences, you look at the tree and suddenly you are the tree and you are the person looking at the tree and it's not clear where the one starts and the other and the other begins. And that doesn't mean when you become aware that there is no separation, that you are immediately in that experience permanently with everything that is happening. But the very fact that you are aware that basically it's all the same, that is the direction. Yes.
Mhm. Yes, and there's that, and there's one more thing. I keep hearing, I'm out there and I'm part of everything. I don't feel that. What I feel is that everything out there is inside of me. And that somehow I sense it. And I hear, yes, I'm out there and I'm part of everything. I've never had that. And I don't know if there's some similarity there as well.
You can say you're out there, all that thing out there is not really out there, it's all in me, but both are just ways of saying something. It's it's neither out there nor it's neither outside nor inside. It's not separate. And if there is no separation, where is the outside, where is the inside? One can, as an exercise, focus on everything is in myself. It's not out there. It's a it's a good working theory. It's a good exercise to counteract that feeling that, oh, all that is out there and I'm separate from it, or I'm part of it out there. But you are the essence of all that. So we can let go the idea it's out there. We can let go the idea it's inside, it's in me. Things are manifesting, expressing itself. There is no separation. And if there is no separation, there's not really an inside and an outside.
These things come up. They just come up, right? It's not like I focus or try, these things come, and I guess it was helpful at some point you said experiences come and go.
Mhm.
Because I used to have experiences and I used to think, well, they should not go, but obviously they do.
Yeah,
But there's something that stays. There's something
yes,
that stays, right?
right.
Yeah.
And the experiences, profound experiences, so-called spiritual experiences, we need not run after them, but we need also not run away from them. We can
Mhm.
very well let them go, let them come, but we can also let them go again as they go. But they have a purifying effect because if your experience is getting vaster, it's easier to let go of the little things that we are holding on to that we thought are so important. And from a new perspective, from the experience, from that perspective, it becomes clearer that it's not that it is not so, that they are not so important enough that we should prevent us from coming back to our natural state. Nothing is important enough that we should allow it to prevent us from coming back to our natural state. And then people may come and tell you, but you should do something about the world, about this, about that, to turn it into a better place. But then if you feel attracted to do so, certain actions you can, but it's not that which matters. What matters is what we are really experiencing.
Yeah. I've talked about this before. The difficult thing that really pulls me away is my grandchildren
Mhm.
and seeing how little children suffer. That is the one that I struggle with the most.
At the
Yeah.
same time, you can look at your grandchildren and see still much more clearly manifest and express that innocent connection with that reality. And then when you think of your grandchildren, it can be a help to connect instead of pulling you away. And if you see, okay, they are slowly picking up, like everybody else, all those patterns that make life not easier, but will maybe result in difficulties, then you can also accept, okay, they may have to go through that. It is not for nothing that we are going through that. All the confrontations, all the difficulties that we are having, everything we are going through is also accumulating something precious, something that inner awareness, that experience of truth can grow, that inner strength, even if it's subconscious and it may take its own time to show itself, to manifest, it's still there. Nobody is going through difficulties for nothing. We are all the time harnessing something very precious. But but the more we are alert, the more we are awake. We don't have to go into difficulties and troubles and suffer in order to collect that precious aspect. But as long as one refuses to look, then this is the way, like most of the people are getting richer through the experience, facing all the the little pleasures and a lot of pains that are coming along. What you can do with your grandchildren is when you connect with them, connect with yourself as good as you can, and not with the sorrow, seeing, oh my God, what is happening to them. They also fall in the same trap. They also will have to suffer for it. But if on the other hand, you remind yourself to connect with yourself, when you connect with them, then actually something very precious is happening for them also. Something flows through you to them that gives them an advantage to deal with all the difficulties that may come along down the road.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Is there anybody else who would like to say something? Hello, Sunita, you have to unmute. Okay. Hello.
Dear Werner, I'm now in Russia. I saw you twice in Tiruvannamalai in this year. And I also heard some of your lectures. And I believe that even if I said to you it will help me. My problem is, I think that it is very good to meditate, to try to find God, and it's very good to meditate like you in your period with Amma, always meditate. And I know that for you it was natural. For me, it's not so natural. I really have some uh, simple desires, like sometimes on the music and dance and something like that. And for now, for example, today I already make satsang with my group. I'm from the Kriya Yoga of Paramahansa Yogananda, and with this picture on my background, I
Yes,
have
you are
some
in
lectures.
you are in good company, huh?
Yes, yes. Uh, and still, I'm from this direction. I also tell people how to meditate better and try to teach them like a channel, not like a teacher, like a channel. But still, I have the desire to dance, sometimes to drink coffee, something like that, that not very good for meditation, for example. And it's always create, and I have husband. We were at your lectures with husband, I and my husband. And my husband meditate much, mm, a lot, much more than I am. And it's always create some tension in myself. Uh, for example, now I wanted to already dance because today I make satsang and sit a lot, but I saw that there is translation with you, uh, lecture, your satsang, and I was on your lecture 2 months ago already, and I really wanted to visit you. And it's always struggle in myself. I happy to see you, but in the same time I want to dance. And I know that God is everywhere. I know that we have to be conscious. For example, you can advise dance, but with thinking about God, consciously dance. But still, I always think that it's not so good if I will be on your lecture or in meditate, something like that. And I don't know, is there some more advice? But in any case, I know that even when I said this question for you, it will help me. Thank you. Thank you. I really feel a great help that goes through you.
Just first to one aspect of the things you said. You said your husband is meditating more than you, and that gives tension in you. It's not a competition. It's not that we are having a meditation marathon and the one who is meditating more is going to win. Sitting a lot is very helpful if that is what you naturally do. But forcing yourself to sit a lot, even if it's not natural, is not necessarily helpful. Still, even if for a person who is very active naturally, I recommend spend some time every day where you are just not doing anything, where you have a special intensity. But then every time you are capable of consciously bringing your attention back to your resource, to your source, to your essence, you are meditating. Even if you are dancing, even if you are walking through a city, even if you are preparing meals, the moment you are connecting, you are meditating. Not simply when you are sitting down with crossed legs and closed eyes, or like the Kriyas looking up. So meditate as much as you can, but that doesn't mean you have to sit all the time. Meditate, and then when you want to dance, dance. And dance full-heartedly, not, oh, it's not good what I'm doing. Then dance, and enjoy the dance, but do it consciously. Be aware of your experience. Feel your body. Feel the energies that are flowing in the dance, and you are meditating. You can meditate in all the actions that you are doing. It's just an idea that meditation means that we have to sit and sit and sit. There is something special because we are less tempted to get distracted if we are not busy with something. But we can very well learn to sit quietly and with the mind roam all over the place and just dream away the whole time. And then that's also not very much meditation. So remind yourself to meditate in the sense that you connect as good as you can. Whenever you do that, you meditate, not simply when you are sitting there. Shall we leave it at that? Okay. I wish you well.
Thank
Hari
you.
Om.
I will try. I will try. Maybe I will ask you again the same, but in any case, it will help me. Thank you.
Anytime welcome. Hari Om. Hari Om. Is there anybody else who would like to say anything? Or you wanted to say something more, Sunita? No. No. That's it for today. Okay. Anybody else who would like to come in? You're welcome. Okay, then I'd say some more to the same subject. As Sunita had mentioned, in my story, there were years where I didn't do much else. Sitting. That was my story. That was what I wanted. That was what came naturally. That was also what my teacher supported very much. And for that, it was very useful. But if you look at the story around Amma, it's active. She makes people do things all the time because she knows that in the present restless age, it's not for many people natural to just sit. There are other ways of meditating, learning to connect. And simply because I have been sitting all the time, that doesn't mean that I try to tell people sit, otherwise no chance. Sit every day sometime. That is good for everybody, even for very active people, to, to step every day sometime out of the current of happenings, the current of events. Do not be busy with anything, but just as good as we can consciously be here, alive, now, in one way or another, with a technique or without a technique. Simply do nothing else for some time. But then we can learn to bring that attitude in our actions. And in the recent years of my life, I have been externally much more active and first sometimes there was a bit resistance. Hey, I'm not sitting anymore. But then it was a good lesson for me to learn. Okay, there was a period where that was on the program, sitting, and now I need not somehow feel something has gone wrong. Now I'm not sitting so much anymore. It's a good lesson to learn and meditate while being active. The temptation to be distracted is stronger, but if in spite we are doing so, then that meditation can become very powerful. Learning to be in the present, learning to be aware that there is always that base, that aspect in us that is not affected, no matter what is happening. If we can do that in action, if we can do that with people, if we can do that in difficult situations, then that brings a great strength with it. So I'm still saying to everybody, meditate, but not necessarily sit all the time. Learn to be conscious, consciously conscious in the present. And whenever we remember, whenever we see how the attention has been drifted off from that, just don't postpone it. Don't think I'm finishing first something and then I try again. But at that moment, simply connect and relax. Connect and relax. That's the job. Until it comes naturally. And then it's okay that everyone's path, everyone's story is unfolding in their own unique way, blossoming in their own unique way, becoming aware that we can bring that awareness into it no matter how the story turns, whether it's turning into a very active one, whether it's more a withdrawn, contemplative one, whether it's in the limelight and people have want to do with you, or whether you are just somehow forgotten and nobody cares about you, it doesn't matter. What matters is how much we are connecting. It should be natural, but we have learned to be unnatural, so we have to struggle to come back to be natural. But our natural state is meditation. Our natural state is that we don't forget about that invulnerable aspect, the divine aspect in ourselves that is first, prior to every experience. It should be natural, but we have learned to be unnatural, and so it's a bigger job to learn to come back to that naturalness. But being in meditation is our natural state. We just have to learn to recognize it in no matter what we are doing. Okay, I'm asking again. Is there anyone who would like to come and say something? Hello, Andreas.
Hello. I mean, I like meditation, but I still, I mean, I have problems with the meditation in daily life. Like, it doesn't feel very special, or I mean, like I remember more often now, and I try to be present and try to connect and relax. Sometimes it works a little bit, sometimes not really very well, but it never feels very special. I always still feel that I'm very much in my ego, that I'm very much like self-centered and feel separate from everything else. Yeah.
Yes, then you don't focus your attention on that aspect of it, but just continue in spite of that. You breathe, you relax, you center. And gradually, but I'm sure, even if you say like this, I'm sure you had also experiences in your active life where suddenly it did feel special. Even if you were not sitting on your meditation pad, but somewhere in your activities, that moments did come where it did feel special. It's just maybe not the usual, the habitual way.
It doesn't feel very big or special. It's just I'm getting a little bit more present. That's how I would call it. That but I don't. The me is always still there. That's my feeling. That I'm never really let go of that. That I never really feel very much connected to everything.
You just stay with the essence of that me. That, I mean, you experience when you are active, you still experience yourself. Then immediately in the mind comes all the baggage, and I'm like this, I'm like that. I'm Andreas, and I'm having this story and these duties and these confrontations and la 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 la, all that. But still, the experience is there. Then you just bring it back to that. You can use being aware of the body sensations. You can use being aware of the breath, but it connects you with being alive. Bring the attention back to that of consciously being alive, consciously being conscious. It may not immediately manifest and express itself that the experience changes greatly, but then you give it a chance that it is not being locked in the little habitual bubble, but sometimes it may expand, and it may just happen. It stays for some time and then it goes back to the habitual tramp, but then you just continue and go about it again. Happy for a moment in between where there was that grace that you could feel. And I'm sure, in spite of your saying so, I'm sure you do have those moments where in action that is not present. It's just a general story that is overpowering. Then even looking back, it seems, well, it's always the same. But if you continue these moments in between where this drops off, they will come. Sometimes they may be very fleeting. Sometimes they stay for a while, or it may be eventually a whole period that is there, but then the old habit may come back, overpower, and there we just have no other choice but, okay, there we go again. Consciously bring the attention back. And then if that in that moment it doesn't feel very special, so what? At least you are anchored in something that is peaceful, and you are not creating unnecessarily trouble in your life. That already is quite an advantage.
How do you know that I have these moments?
Because it's not possible to live the way you live, to meditate the way you meditate, that these moments are not happening. I can see it when I look at you.
I mean, I don't recognize. I mean, maybe it's my brain and my like net science attitude that really want to verify them, that destroys it a lot of times.
Right.
And I can realize that when I look back, like maybe 30 years, that there I was completely locked into my thinking and my bubble, And this has changed quite a
Yes.
bit, but it's never that I feel. I mean, it never feels like great. It sometimes when I ride my bicycle and it's a beautiful moment in nature, then I relax and it feels okay. But it's not much more than that. It just feels that I'm relaxing and kind of a little bit of happiness, but it's not like that I feel one with everything.
Yes. As I said before to Nava, you may not feel that you are one with everything, but still the sense of being separate starts to disappear. That you become aware that it's all the same without having the direct experience of oneness. Every time when you do feel okay, you said sometimes then you just feel okay, but when you do feel okay, there you are not busy uh, uh, holding on to that sense of separation.
Okay, I try to believe you and not be so critical of my own experience.
And one thing you said, that is a bit the thing you have. Then even if a little bit happens, then immediately you have the tendency then to start to analyze it. Is it now the real thing or is it not the real thing? How much is it worth the trouble or can or is it basically useless? And you want to again to put it into all the drawers and sort of know about your progress and analyze how it is going better, and there you can work on it to when you catch yourself doing that, not do that, just be here now, and if it's a moment okay, then that's okay, and it need not be more than that.
Yeah, this is getting better too.
Yeah, right. Okay,
Okay, thank you very much.
you are welcome. Hario,
Ayo.
Hario, Hario. Is there anyone else who would like to say something? Okay, then let's spend a few minutes just being here, being quiet together, focused on that which makes the experience possible. If you are sitting anyhow, try to find a comfortable posture that you are not so much distracted by the body. Let the breath flow into the body and out of the body consciously. And relax. Relax physically, relax energetically. And any mental tensions disappear by themselves. Just be. Not slipping into past stories, possible future stories. Simply be consciously, consciously conscious, consciously alive. Conscious of that sense of presence that is always there, whether we are aware of it or not. And when this mind starts to create stories, don't get interested. At the same time, don't fight with them. Simply redirect the attention. Consciously breathe, let the air flow in and out, and relax. And we are right back here, now, timelessly now. Naturally at ease. Naturally at peace. If tensions come, if thoughts come, let them come, let them go. Don't hold on to them. Don't get interested. Redirect the attention. Come back home, here now. Just breathe consciously and relax. Not analyzing, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Just breathe and relax. Just be. Connect. Connect with the source of life. With that immediate, direct awareness of being here now, conscious. It's always here, this space, this sense of presence. Everything comes and goes. Everything changes all the time in manifestation. Here, now, you are timeless. This is our home. Naturally at ease, naturally at peace, and yet so full of potential. And the source of joyousness, the source of happiness, all is here, now. And then, when we bring the attention again more into the body and its functions, and then when we start to move again more, and after that, when we get up and we meet people, we work, we talk, we can remember, we still can connect. That timelessness, that base is never absent. No matter what we are doing, no matter the circumstances we are meeting, whether we are in the countryside or in a big city, alone or in a crowd, talking or silent, active or inactive, this timeless presence is never absent. And it's always possible to come back home to that here now and relax. I wish you all well. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om.